Hey guys, James here today and welcome back to another Sims 4 house building video. Today we are making an A-frame house, and if you don't know what that is, it might be self-explanatory from the thumbnail or potentially from, what I'm doing right now. It looks like an A. Basically, the body of the roof kind of forms the entire house. This is like a sort of architectural style that became popular. It was sort of, I think it was like post World War II, I think. I don't quote me on that. It was around that time, mostly because it was cheap to build and they could like prefabricate it really easily. Anyway, I'm just explaining it because I felt when I actually streamed this the other day. If you want to watch this build in real time and all that, I've actually uploaded that stream to my More James Turner channel, so you can watch it in real time if you want, or you can watch the sped up version here. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people are asking like, "What is this?" Why are you doing this? And so that's kind of where the style came from. I mean, well, it existed way before then. I think there was a lot of sort of island nations kind of already had it, and actually, I think it was like China, South Pacific area. They already existed there, but then became popular around the mid 20th century. I was about to say 19th, mid 20th century. Anyway, history lesson on architecture. Can't speak today either, so that's great. That seems to be every day though. Anyway, the main reason I wanted to do this, it's actually quite a popular style when it comes to mountainous terrain. And the other reason for that is because it was popular in that time frame, and it was also cheap to build because it was prefabricated. People wanted holiday homes. Where do you build holiday homes? In holiday destinations, such as the mountains. Anyway, so I was sort of inspired by that kind of aspect of it, and I wanted to play around with the terrain editing, and so that's kind of why it sort of fit into this terrain edited place. I'm trying to build this sort of retaining wall right here, and then I also decided that it probably makes a lot more sense if we put it in Granite Falls from Outdoor Retreat, so that's kind of where it ends up going. And I will move it back there. Like, we'll move to Granite Falls in a bit, but then we actually move back here again because I needed to test a few things. So I needed to like move a sim in and all that. But yeah, we're keeping it pretty basic. Like, it's a pretty crappy interior. Not crappy in the sense that like I didn't put effort into it, but we kind of put effort into it to make it crappy because it's like a rental home. It's in the mountains. And like I said, these guys are from pretty much the mid 20th century. I wanted it to feel old and pretty gross and like a cheap rental property. Like, and when I was building this, I was just like, man, this feels exactly like some rentals that I've been in. Like, they're just like old and not really taken care of. It's like that's kind of just what it is. It's like a step above log cabin, but not quite into nice territory just yet. So right here, I was trying to figure out how to, because we couldn't put another column there, but I wanted the sort of stairs up onto the front deck right there to be accessible. So we couldn't put a column there, so I figured, if we just put a bunch of plants, we can hide it. When in doubt, put in plants, and you'll hide everything, and it'll be great. And I use a lot of them as well moving forward. I don't go too far with them, but you can see I'm sort of filling in a bit of it, because obviously there is no like constrained floor elevation in this game. And if you don't know what that means, basically in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2, we could, instead of having, you can see we got that really steep slope next to the wall because you can't have the terrain join directly to the wall. It has to go straight down. In the previous games, we could sort of work around that and have the terrain, be flush with the wall. It would go directly into it, so you wouldn't have these big ditches around the side of the house. But Sims 4, we can't do that yet. I hope they add it. I really, really hope they add that feature in. Because, I was surprised they added it in terrain editing. So, and I had no hope they were going to do that. So, by that logic, hopefully that added more power to the terrain editing that we have and make it even more useful. But we don't know. Anyway, so that's why I'm sort of putting plants in that little ditch underneath the house so it didn't look so strange and all that. Because originally I was going to do the main entrance down the bottom of this house, and the downstairs was going to be the main entrance. But then when I sort of built that front deck and had the stairs there, I was like, you know what, this should probably be the main entrance. Downstairs is also sort of a public, well, not public's probably not the right word, but sort of communal living area. So that's like the downstairs has the kitchen and like dining area. Upstairs is a living room, essentially. And obviously downstairs also has the bedrooms, because while the A-frame is a lot of fun to build in The Sims, particularly in The Sims 4, we don't have a lot of room because, again, coming to the roofs, you may know we can't remove the walls that roofs have. Whereas in previous games, in Sims 3 and probably even Sims 2, I think both of them, you could just remove the walls that came with a roof. Like, you just remove them, and then boom, you'd have just a roof segment without the walls. And then basically what that means is you could use that space and put in items there, put in objects that the Sims could use, basically giving you more room. Because you can see inside this A-frame, essentially where those windows are, we've only got a 4-tile wide interior. because there's no way to remove that wall where the roofs are. I was gonna say we could probably work around that, but even then, not well. So we kind of, it's a bit of a shame. Anyway, so basically what that means is I didn't really have a lot of room upstairs to put in the living space, so I thought we would split it up. So downstairs, kitchen, dining, upstairs, living room, and then downstairs, obviously, the rest of the bedrooms as well. Yeah, you can see the upstairs is really quite limited in space. So there's like nothing going on there. So we gotta kind of work with what we can. And then downstairs here, I'm trying to figure out the layout. I was trying to keep it really, really simple. I didn't want to go anything too silly because at the end of the day, this is supposed to be like a cheap rental property. So I was trying to keep a layout that would obviously be cheap to build, one that's really straightforward. It basically just boxes and rectangles. So that's kind of what I ended up with there. We have a master bedroom on the right that has an ensuite bathroom, and then we have a secondary bathroom just for the other bedroom, slash guests, I guess. So we ended up with 2 bedrooms. I wanted to do 3, but instead we ended up with 2, and one of the bedrooms has 2 single beds in it, so like, kids or whatever would share it. Here's where we're doing the chandelier, and I moved it up, but I'm like, this thing is way too high up. And none of the other like low-hanging chandeliers I didn't think looked particularly good. So I was trying to play around with it. So it's like, how can we extend the hanging or the distance that this chandelier hangs down? So I tried a light bulb, and then I tried that pole, which you can see there now. I sort of cut it out because it took a while to figure out. That pole is from, I think it was Toddler Stuff. The Toddler Stuff pack, it's like one of the lighting poles, and it actually works really well. I scaled it down once and then hung the light off that, and it kind of looks like it's just a really a chandelier hanging down from the roof. So I was quite excited about that. Now, downstairs, we'll see a little bit more of later, but you might have seen I just cut in a little bit down there because I really wanted to shove the kitchen in a corner because I felt like these old houses really had really pokey kitchens, like really, it's like really unnecessarily shoved into a back corner somewhere, and that's what we went with. That's exactly what we went with. Now, the chimney, here's another thing. It looked weird because you can see there that it was just stopping halfway up the roof. And so it was like, we had to figure out a way to get a chimney in there, which we did. But then you can see there, when I put the walls down, the chimney's still visible. And that's not inherently a huge issue. But I felt like for gameplay wise, having this giant chimney in your view all of the time would be really, really annoying. So you can see now, I cut up most of it out. We've positioned the chimney back a little bit, so we've offset it backward. And that actually means when we put the walls down, it disappears. So it's like perfect. It like actually worked out really, really well. So when we put the walls down, chimney disappears. When the walls are up, it looks good and it looks normal. So that actually worked out really, really well. Now, again, like I've cut out a few of these things that, are a little bit tedious to figure out or trying to work through. But like I said, if you want to watch this whole thing in its entirety, I have uploaded it to my live stream VOD channel. Basically, if you miss any live stream, they will be up on that channel. So you can check it out there if you want to see all of this. If not, just keep enjoying this video. That's fine too. We actually spent a lot of time trying to choose a couch and color scheme and wallpaper and all that. Now, here's the thing. I did mention in the live stream as well. I was like, I really would love to do a modern A-frame home, but I just don't think that's possible in this game, in The Sims 4, because to do a modern A-frame, they typically have they will have basically a whole glass wall on either end, or maybe not either end, but on one of the ends at least. And obviously that would entail us having triangular windows that would fit underneath the roofs. But we don't have those in the game, unfortunately. I don't know if Sims 3 had them. I know Sims 2 definitely had those sort of triangular windows that came in. It must be like open for business or something. That's that expansion pack from Sims 2. So you could do it then, but we don't have any triangular windows. And also, like I said, we can't remove the walls from roofs, so you can't even use that space, even if you did have the windows there. So having been through all that, we obviously had to use much more traditional windows, much more traditional everything, essentially. So that's kind of why we fell into this crappy looking rental property. But I still think it looks awesome. I had so much fun. I had so much fun crapifying this place. Like sometimes I just love doing this. Like I love doing it. Like when we did that Octagon build, where it was like that 90s themed Octagon build, and it was just so heavily 90s. It was beautiful. It was so gross today. Like if that was a style like that people built new, like it's fine if it exists now and you're moving into an old place, whatever. But if someone's building that new now, it's like, what are you doing, mate? I don't know. It was so much fun. I like building some of these. It's not always about being modern or being new or anything like that. So yeah. That's what we went with this for. Also, I speaking of architectural styles, like we were at the very beginning, I just wanted to point out because I recently did a video on how to roof in The Sims 4. It was a newer one. I've done a couple in the past. This is like an updated one. I did like this week or so. And I was talking about, obviously I did a traditional roof style and then I did a more modern roof style. And someone was just pointing out that like, I'm pretty sure that the traditional style is also modern because new houses are being built with that. But modern is actually an architectural style. It's not referring to the time in which a place is built. Like, that is a style. Like if you look up, and I just gave one example. This is a very famous example. A lot of you might have even heard of it before. A house called Falling Water, all one word. If you search Falling Water, that house was built, I think 1935, in the modern style, and it's still considered modern today because it's in that noteworthy style, very angular, very squared off edges, squared off, very that kind of, that sort of. I don't know how to describe it like that. There's probably, if you Google it, there'll probably be proper descriptors of it, but it's obviously very angular, very square, that kind of style. So modern, as a heads up, refers to a style, not the time period in which it was built. Like you would say contemporary, that's also kind of, I don't know, that's kind of usually referring to a style, but I guess you could probably more tilt that towards like that's a contemporary home in terms of that's a current home that was just built, not necessarily a style, although it kind of is. I don't know. Architectural styles, cool. So much fun. Upstairs here. So anyway, while I've been rambling on about that and explaining that, because I don't know, I find it interesting. Obviously, I like building homes in The Sims. I'm not an architect. I don't really know that much about architecture. I know, I've picked up bits and pieces, but anyway, I like talking about it. It's fun. So this upstairs area, we got so many different types of wood, so many different colors, and I actually really like that because, and actually we were talking about it in the live stream. I was like, look, at the end of the day, it kind of does suck that The Sims 4, the wood tones really, it's hard to match wood tones between items because most of them don't have the same tones or the same colors. Some of them do, but some of them just have random colors that you're like, where did that wood tone come from? And this was an issue mentioned recently. A lot of people mention it, but if you guys watch Lil Simsy's videos, Kayla, she mentioned in one of her videos like that the wood colors in The Sims 4 are just so inconsistent between, packs. Like you get a new pack and it has this new wood tone that looks completely different and it's ridiculous. But in this particular build, I was like, you know what? That's like perfect for this situation because it's so crap. It's so crap. We just put in all this garbage, like all these like old bits of furniture, all these different tones and all that. I think it worked out particularly well in this build, but I would like to see more matching swatches, which is just generally an issue with this game. Like we just need matching swatches of everything in this game. Oh man, these terracotta tiles, I was like, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect for a build like this. We terracotted the entire bottom floor, and doing this, I was like, when I did this, like even the bedrooms we terracotta tiled, I was like, this reminds me of so many rentals, like rental like homes or something, or properties that I've been on holiday in. You go to them and there's just like they got tiles everywhere, like these really old tiles. It's just it's usually in like if you go to like a coastal area and you stay in somewhere older, it'll just be tiled because they're just like, yeah, no, we're not cleaning carpet. It's just tiles. And I was like, this reminds me of that so much. It's just that flooring was just spot on for me. I don't know. It just got me. So yeah, like this, I was talking about the kitchen being pokey. When I decided the kitchen was going to go downstairs, I was like, that's it. It's going to be shoved in this corner. That's exactly where it's going. So we sort of cut into that room at the back. So that's still a room that has 2 single beds in it. But it's just smaller. It's just a smaller bedroom. So I quite enjoyed that actually. And then this whole area, this sort of living space down here is basically just kitchen and dining table, nothing else. Because we sort of had a chat about it and discussed it, and like I was trying to get a bar in. That was something that was very popular. I couldn't get it inside. We do end up putting a bar outside though, so don't worry. It's still a great holiday home to enjoy with a quick bevy or two. There's just no room down here. We discussed about doing like other stuff in this space, but because it's such a unusual space. Well, not unusual. It's like a square basically, but we have essentially the stairs coming down there. We have 3 doors on the wall over that side, or maybe 4 actually. No, 3 doors, and then we have the entrance down the bottom there as well. There's so many doors. Like basically that whole half of the room is essentially like a hallway, so you can't really put anything in front of that. We did consider putting like a little sofa or something in there and a TV, but I decided that it just wasn't enough room, and I thought it would actually clutter it too much. And typically rental properties are pretty empty as well. Actually, they'll have like the bare minimum that you need to use it. So I just didn't think that would be a thing that they had. Oh, these curtains Man, these curtains, I enjoyed them so much as well. Like I think they're cats and dogs ones actually that came with those sort of autumn leaves. I was like, that's perfect for this down. Look at this place. It's so, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Like when I put those curtains in, I felt it really came together as a whole. I was like, yeah, oh yeah, there we go. You know, you got your kitchen, you got your bin. Here's the stairs. Like this, again, I was trying to see if I could get a bar under there, but it looked kind of ridiculous. I thought it kind of seemed like it was shoved in there. So instead we put like a buffet table in there instead with just like a little decoration on top of it. Because I thought it just made a bit more sense and actually just was probably, and it kind of just, I don't know, like it's so wonderfully empty, this space down here. Like the floor, I don't know, that something about the flooring and the, I don't know, I just really, really like the way this build turned out. I'm very happy with it. Hey, if you want to download it, it is on the Sims 4 gallery. If you search The Sim Supply under Origin ID, you'll find it. Same as my username here on YouTube, all one word. You'll find it there. Or I always link them in the description down below, so click that link. Now, even though I've said that, people will comment about it down below. They will comment about it. They always do. No matter how many times the download link is there, how many times I tell them to do it. Here, I think the problem is, I always say you can download it at the end of the video, and those people probably ask at the beginning of the video. So maybe I should say at the beginning from now on. I don't know. Anyway, so we got all the bedrooms, all tiled. Like I said, we're tiling the whole space. Oh, that bed there was so perfect too, right? Look at that thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've stayed in a room exactly like this. Like those tiles, that bed, this like all this old furniture. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've stayed in this place before. What curtains did I end up doing here? Oh yeah, those are drab. I was like, we could have. I wanted to keep the bedrooms pretty basic as well. Like I said earlier, this is a rental, designed as a rental property, not really to live in. I mean, of course, you could live in this. It is a fully functional home, and you could even make it over, make it nicer. But it's supposed to be placed in Granite Falls. That's where I'm placing it. So I wanted to keep it pretty basic. And by pretty basic, I mean very basic, especially the bedrooms. Although this one has a little TV in it, it's pretty good. I actually spent like so long in the other bedroom when we get around to that, trying to choose a painting. I don't know if I cut it out or left it in, but I spent ages going through like paintings, trying to choose something. Even here, you can see I'm trying to choose something. Because here's the thing. I'm trying to choose something that is appropriate for the style of the house, and is also generic enough that it would make sense in this kind of property. And those flowers are perfect. I was like, that is spot on. Thought a little crappy armchair there as well. Dude, those chairs, those armchairs and the sofas that we use upstairs from the City Living like flea market, they're so dirty. And I was just like, that's so perfect for this build. It's like, that is good. All right, and we had to use the combo shower and tub with that curtain. I was like, that's perfect. Now, actually, so this is where I ran into, like, I needed to test it with a sim. Because I was like, I don't know if they can actually fit in there. So I moved it back to, so now we're back in Newcrest because I was testing it out. It did work in the end. That's why we also have money now. Also, a lot of people ask how you get infinite money in this game. Basically, if you're building on a lot that doesn't have a sim living on it, you don't have a budget because obviously there's no sim living there, so you're building whatever you want. But now that I have a sim living here and I'm building, that's why we have money. I don't know. That's just how it works. I don't know if people know that you can build without a sim. Well, you can, so there you go. So there you go. That's how you get infinite money. Just don't have a sim live there. But that's why we have money there. Oh, we discovered this as well. This is sad. Sad news, guys. This is a sad news bulletin. We were going to do these bunk beds. And you may remember, number one, I've done these a couple of times before. And also in all my tiny builds, we placed a bunch of furniture and like moved them up so we could fit a bunch more stuff in a tiny build, right? But whether this was an accident or an intentional change, it doesn't appear that Sims can use raised items anymore at all, like period. They do not work. We tested it with not every bed. We tested it with a lot of different beds, different heights, everything. We moved the bed up and down. We moved it outside. We put it somewhere else. We couldn't get the Sim to use a raised bed under any circumstance the other day. Now, I don't know. Number one, I don't know if that's just me, if there's something in my game, some mod maybe. I don't have that many mods, so if it is, I'd be surprised, but it might be. But if you guys want to test it for me as well, like test to see if you can raise up a bed and a Sim can use it, or any item really. But it seems that it doesn't work anymore. And that was really sad. I was actually really disappointed with that. And I'm going to let the Sims team know that that should still be in there. Whether I don't know if it's intentional, because I don't think it was ever mentioned. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like I actually don't know. I'm asking. I only just discovered this, that it doesn't work anymore. And even my working one, if you remember from the 90s build, the Octagon house, which I was talking about before, that one had a functional bunk bed because we tested it, made sure it worked, and it did. I went to test it yesterday, it didn't work anymore. I hadn't changed anything. It just didn't work now. And I assumed, this is my assumption, and it would kind of make sense with the terrain update. I was like, maybe that's what broke it, because obviously with the different elevations in terrain and how items place on terrain, I was like, maybe they updated the logic of how Sims interact with objects depending on their verticality, if that makes sense. I was like, in my mind, that makes sense, because obviously something might have changed there that caused it to no longer work. And I would like them to change it back so it does work. Thanks, guys. I don't know if it's possible or whatever, but because I feel like the raising up of items and them still working was obviously always like, it was like a bug that was useful, like very useful. And I want it to come back for sure. It should be back, because I don't know, like it's a shame. And also while they're fixing, hey guys, while you're fixing that, also make it so we can lower items into the ground, into the terrain, because that meant if I could have placed a column on the other side, I wouldn't have to cover it in bushes, you know? I could have sunken the column down into the terrain. Super useful if we could do that, because the problem is, like, we got all these sweet hills and slopes we can make now, and you might have seen even now you can see some of the rocks, they're sort of floating because items obviously place on top of the terrain all the time. But if the footprint of the item is too big, it will stick out way off of the terrain and it'll just be like floating off the edge. And if we had the ability to just, you know, sink it down below ground level, problem solved that easily. So okay, fix that, not fix that, add that functionality to lower the item. And also fix the ability to use an item that's like raised, because that would be mint. And I'd be I'd be a very happy chappy. And yeah, thanks guys. So we're obviously just doing a little bit of landscaping, cleaning up the outside. It's moved back over to Granite Falls now. Of course, we had to get in the little fire pit, because I thought that was kind of important. Put a couple of stumps. Well, I should put one stump, I put a stone, and then a couple of like those folding lawn chairs in there. But that is pretty much it for the build. We'll have a look just quickly in the game as well for a little tour, so it's not all sped up here. So here is the build in the game. This is what it looks like, especially placed in Granite Falls. I think it actually fits in really, really nicely. You know, it's better than... Actually, you know what? I was going to say it's better than that, but to be fair, these are... Oh, well, maybe better than that one over there. I was going to say, to be fair, these aren't too bad. That one's... I like that. You know? Maybe not those ones. Anyway, this is what we're looking at here. So yeah, I thought this was a really good build to play around with the terrain tool. So I had a lot of fun with that, at least to try and make it look somewhat natural. And I mentioned as well in the stream that we really need lots that are not flat. Hopefully in the next expansion pack, we'll have some like uneven lots so we can play around with them a bit more. But this is what this one is. I sort of played around with it, trying to make it look somewhat natural, fitting in. And I generally had a lot of fun building this, because it was a little bit of a challenge to get everything to work and to sort of look good in this style. Like if we jump inside here, here's a little balcony in the bar and all that. If we jump in here, I think this looks really cool. I would have loved if we could change the color of the roof on the inside. Also, if it didn't look like blue, but again, not much I can do about that. But anyway, if you look at the rest of it as a whole, I really, really enjoyed this. Like we got the grandfather clock there, like a chest there, we got the hanging chandelier over there. That's really like tucked in little living room all here. Like you can sit in here cozy by the fire. You got the TV over there. You can see out the windows there and at the front as well. Like you got these big windows all up and down. Now, like I said, if we could do it like a modern one and have that all glass, how good would that look? But you know, we do what we can. Anyway, let's go down. Oh, hello. Let's go downstairs to the kitchen and dining area. Oh, okay. Well, so when you place a slot, put move objects on, because there should be 2 chairs there. I feel like this happens in all of my little tours these days, that stuff just disappears. Anyway, that should be there. There you go. So that's the kitchen and dining area. I think it's just wonderfully tacky. Look at this place, isn't it? And then the bathrooms are pretty simple, both of them. I love the little touch of the plunger as well that we put in there. Little bathroom, only tiles around the shower because we're too cheap to put it anywhere else. If you head over this way now, so this is the shared single bedroom. Or single bedroom, I guess. They have a couple of beds, one little photo on the wall, and then all they get is that little dresser and a radio, because I felt like, you know, they don't deserve a TV. They can't afford it. In here is the, I guess, master bedroom, if you can call it that. Got this beautiful bed, painting on the wall. Even they got a little TV. They got like, this is nice. I mean, for what it is. And then in here is the ensuite bathroom, which is basically the same as the other one. Like we use the same items, just in a different orientation, so it actually fit in. But that is the A-frame house, available to download on the Sims 4 gallery. You can click the link down below, or if you search for The Sims Supply, you can find it there. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and have an awesome day.